Janet stands up and said, I'm going to bed. We're just going to walk out. But then when they got back to the room, Danny was explaining that, like, why did you say that? I felt like you didn't have my back. Well, I just didn't think you were calm. Welcome to We Wine Whenever. Grab your glass and join 3 Jersey Shore housewives, Wendy, Kelly, and Lori, as they dive into everything from Bravo drama to life's everyday chaos. It's unfiltered, it's hilarious, and it's the real talk you've been waiting for, from relationship to pop culture. We drink wine whenever, and we hope you do too. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star review. Cheers!
Hi, welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Kelly.
I'm Wendy.
And tonight we're talking about The Valley, Season 3, Episode 13, Liked and Loaded. But before we get into it, we'd like to ask you to please go to our YouTube and subscribe, and Facebook, Insta, TikTok, and follow and share. And please comment. We love the engagement, and 5-star reviews if you like. Thank you. I never know where I start my notes from. Like, if they just start like with opening scenes, like I don't write everything down. But the one thing I did write down is that we're still at the Schwartzapalooza, and Zach looks at Tom Schwartz's shirt and says, I can't look at this doily anymore. So funny. So they leave where they were downstairs and they go up to, I guess, somebody's room, the girls' room, I guess.
Suite.
Maybe they have like a common area.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Luke comes in and he's saying how he brought Kristen a ginger ale and all these things. And they're like, oh, and what, how was she? He's like, she just wanted to go to sleep. So we're not even 5 minutes into the episode, and Lala goes right in on Danny and basically asks him, are you ever going to forgive, I guess, Janet? She was asking, are you ever going to forgive Janet?
Yeah.
And he's like, whatever, like, whatever, it is what it is. And she's like, well, you liked stuff on social media about them, negative things. So now Lala is going to come for Danny for liking negative things about Janet and Jason on social media. The whole world liked negative things about Janet and Jason on social media. So Lala says, I want to gain some clarity. It's none of your business, Lala. It's none of your business. Like, why do you need to gain?
She came in so aggressive.
She came in so aggressive. And even Jesse's like, Lala's timing's perfect. Like, we traveled today. We've been drinking.
Yeah.
Like, and then she, like you said, Lala's getting so aggressive. And then she says to Danny, why are you so triggered? Danny was sitting there calmly.
Yeah.
It's so wild to me that they want everyone to think that he's like a monster.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah. So, of course, Janet has screenshots of Danny liking something negative. And Jasmine's telling Danny to calm down. I'm like, what is going on? And then Jasmine's mad at Zach for not calling Danny out on drinking at his party. I just don't understand. This is where I have it in my notes. Like, fuck it. Let's just stop watching this show and start covering McBee. Because I can't hear about this anymore. We've seen Danny drink on camera numerous times, right? Numerous times.
Yes.
I mean, I think the one time when they were at, Jax's bar, but it was like, it was decorated for Brittany's. He definitely drank too much and he got belligerent.
Mm-hmm.
And Nia got him out of there. Other than that, I don't think we've seen Dark Side Danny, right?
Well, no, because when he got drunk in the wine country, Napa Valley, but he didn't get dark side. He just went to bed.
Right. He went to sleep, and then we did see him with the beauty contest, the pageant.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now Jasmine and Zach are going after each other, like aggressively.
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, Zach was drunk. Jasmine was also drunk, and so was Brittany at this point. And I'll be honest with you, I do not think Danny was drunk, because I even noted down, like, first he was like a little amped up, but then he calmed down and he was speaking to Lala very calmly. Those were my exact words. I mean, he did not come across to me as drunk. And when he was yelling and amped up, he was only matching the energy in the room because everyone was yelling and the over talking everybody. It wasn't just one person. They were all doing it to each other.
Yes, it
And
was.
Danny was just,
I would have been triggered if I were sitting there.
yes,
Everybody was
yes,
coming for him at all directions. Janet saying her
yes,
bullshit under her breath. Lala's up there like she's ready to go rounds with Mike Tyson. Lala,
yep.
we're really sorry that your married scumbag boyfriend fucked you over. We're very sorry for you. But that doesn't mean that Danny's a scumbag too. Like, you chose a piece of shit. You knew he was married. You knew he had kids. You screwed him anyway because he had a private jet. You did that. You made that choice. Sorry he screwed you over, but you get him, you lose him how you get him. I don't know. She's driving me crazy, love. And then who says, was it Janet who was talking about Zach and says, where's this blind loyalty coming from? Was that
No, it was
Janet that said
Jasmine.
that?
No, it was
It was
Jasmine.
Jasmine.
Jasmine was the one yelling it, and Jasmine was getting mad. And then Janet was jumping in on that. Jasmine was mad because he didn't call him out about lying to him, which again, that's not blind loyalty. He planned on addressing that. It wasn't the situation that was going on there now, and it wasn't the time and place for it. And Zach was smart enough, even though he was drunk, to know that.
Right. Right, because we see the next day they have the conversation in a calm manner.
Absolutely. But I really loved that Danny was calmly speaking to Lala, right? And then Brittany comes out because Brittany wasn't even there at that point. I thought she had gone down for the night, but I guess there was so much yelling. Brittany comes out and Zach is yelling, and then Zach is yelling at Brittany, right? And then Brittany brings up about him liking things of hers. And then she reads her screenshot out of what he liked. And he said, yeah, I did like that because you were a part of it. And she's like, well, who told you that? He's like, well, Jax and Jesse. And she's like, you listen to those mother effers before me. And Jesse's like, hey, don't call me a mother effer. I can go in on you.
He? Why wouldn't he?
Right.
Like,
Right.
listen, it's not insane to think that she would go along with Jax to take them down. It's not insane to think that. Jax was her husband. She had blind loyalty to him.
Exactly.
So it's not insane to think that she would go along with it. Maybe she didn't. Kristen doesn't seem to think she did. But like Jesse said, Jax said something on the podcast and Brittany didn't tell him, no, that's not right. And then Danny does apologize to Brittany.
He absolutely does.
Yeah. And they seem to move on.
They seem to move
on.
on.
Then he says, why are we still talking about it? And Janet's like, why are you still mad at me? Janet.
It's a totally different situation. Right.
Wish I could I'm not even going to say it. You said he sexually assaulted someone. Even the person you're saying it happened to said that didn't happen. This is what Nia and Danny are upset about. That is a very damaging thing to say about someone if it's not true. If it's true, okay. But it's not true because the person that you said it happened to said it wasn't that. So listen, that is life-changing for someone to be accused of that. Certainly someone in the public eye.
He says, listen, I still have PT. When he runs into Lala, when Lala talks to him on the beach, he's like, listen, you weren't there. You don't know what happened. I still have PTSD from this. I had to go to therapy every week. I was angry. Like, this could ruin my life. I never thought anyone would say these words about me. I have 4 children. I have a career to worry about.
Right.
Like,
all the things.
Right.
Crazy.
I mean, right. And the Lala's like, oh, okay, so I'm happy to hear this. Right.
This
I'm
bitch
happy to
will
hear that
not
you understand
admit
anger.
that she said that. She says all the things around it. Well, we'll get there.
Yeah.
So Danny and
like-
Nia leave the after party.
Actually,
and
though,
Lala's like,
didn't
why can't we
Jasmine-
have a
didn't
conversation?
Didn't Zach leave
left.
first?
Zach left with
Zach-
Benji and Schwartz.
And then they
wind
their
up
little
coming back. But in the meantime, Danny and Nia leave. And yeah.
That was
a
so
non-sexual
cute.
throuple.
I know. That was so cute. I love that. Honestly, I love that. Like, even Schwartz said to Zach, like, he's like, "I'm very upset. I'm very emotional." And Schwartz is like, I know. Just breathe." He's like, "I don't mean that to be condescending." And Zach is like, "No, I don't take that way from you. Like, you're the only person who could say that to me." Like, Schwartz was really he really is in every situation trying to mediate everything. That's really his role in this show. Unlike Lala, whose role is to just stir the shit up, which is
I'm thinking
annoying.
was the worst addition to this show now. If
I
because
am
talk
too.
about blind loyalty, you're doing
Yeah,
Janet's job. Well, you're not
right.
doing Janet's job, but what you're doing is all on behalf of Janet. Because listen, here's the thing. Danny and Nia, they want a public apology from Janet. And in my personal opinion, they deserve one.
I agree.
For that comment, for that specific comment, they deserve an apology. Yes, Danny has acted inappropriate. Nobody's questioning that. But that essay comment she made, that needs to be publicly apologized for. She's never going to do it. Not only is she never going to do it, but she's doubling down every time she can, making snide comments about Danny and talking about his vices. Nia and Danny
Mhm.
are not doing that with Janet. They're not
Mm. They're not
in like
engaging.
they're not engaging. This is why America hates you, Janet, and doesn't hate
Mhm.
them. I mean, people are pissed off at Danny, but not not like how they feel about Janet, though. So, Danny and Nia go to leave, and Lala's like, "Why can't we have a conversation with him?" You just did. You just did have a conversation. He apologized to Brittany. He was calmly talking to you. And then didn't understand this. Danny and Nia go back to the room, and he says he didn't feel like Nia was defending him, which I think that she was just probably monitoring the situation.
Well, I think
And
this is what happened. This is what happened after Brittany and after Danny apologized to Brittany, Nia said after it was solved, Nia said, hold on, she said something about Danny. She tried to explain Danny's actions. Oh, he was I don't remember what she said. Brittany didn't stand up and say, "Come on, Jax." Danny said, "When you guys were together." Okay. Nia said, "I think he was just in a place of hurt and wasn't ready to respond to anybody." This was after Danny calmly said to Brittany, "I'm sorry. I really like our friendship. I apologize for the situation." Brittany said, "Thank you." Then Nia said he was just in a place of hurt and wasn't ready to respond to anybody.
right, because he wasn't responding to her text message.
Right. And Danny said, "Why are we still talking about it?" Because it was done. And that's when Nia said, we need to leave." And Janet stands up and said, "I'm going to bed. We're just gonna walk out." But then when they got back to the room, Danny was explaining that, like, "Why did you say that? I felt like you didn't have my back." Like, she's like, "Well, I just didn't think you were calm." And I wrote down, he was absolutely calm and chill before she even
I have
said
that
that.
written down too. She says Danny
Yeah.
wasn't calm. I thought he
Like,
maintained a pretty calm demeanor considering everything that was going on, everybody that was coming for him.
right, right. She said, "I was just trying to give your perspective in a calm manner," right? And I think that that's what her intention was, but I could see where he was pissed. And she did what they do. She exited the room. She went back. They spoke about it briefly, but they had the conversation the next morning and we see it. We see the conversation. Again, they don't have to air their dirty laundry out in the public to solve things and to be good partners. And that's what people don't like. And it just blows my mind. It really blows my mind.
I totally agree with you because we've had this conversation. Like, we everybody's relationship's different. What goes on in my house isn't privy to everybody in my life. What goes on in your house isn't privy to everyone in your life. And I understand they're on a reality TV show, but they're also a married couple with small children who really
Right.
care about each other. So
Right.
saying on national television like Lala did that she wishes they got divorced, like that's a horrible thing to say. That's a
Yes, it
horrible thing to
absolutely
say
is. It absolutely
because
is.
I really do think that Danny's gonna get to a point in his life where he's not gonna drink, and what a shame it would be if she just ups and leaves him because he gets belligerent 1 out of every 5 times he drinks, or she's in it for the long haul. She's made a commitment and she's standing by her man, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Again, Lala, you got screwed over, but, that's not everybody else's fault, and not everybody needs to be single because you had a baby with a scumbag.
And the whole point is she's doing exactly what she's accusing Zach of doing. She is giving Janet blind loyalty.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because then when Zach comes back in, because then Zach and Benji and Tom Schwartz come back in, Lala's still going for him and saying, like, I'm watching it through Jasmine's eyes. Like, it's weird that you defend somebody so hard sometimes. And it's not. Zach is like, I feel like Jasmine says, I feel like you're such a good friend. You're being walked over. Zach said, don't you? I have an issue with, like, I'm going to take care of this. You don't need to point it out. I've already said something to him. I'm going to say something to him again. Like, this is my problem.
Right. And how about when Lala, he's like, "Where'd everybody go?" And Lala's like, "Some people had to be put to bed." Like, did you think you just did something here, Lala? Because you didn't do anything. Like, I don't know what her like tough girl, like, you're not that, Lala. You're not that.
No, because then Brittany starts yelling from her bed out to Zach, and Zach's like, if you
Jasmine's
want to say
right.
something, yeah, if you want to say
Jasmine's
something,
right.
Brittany, then get out here. Oh God! And then Janet
Michelle
starts
says to
yelling
Zach, "It seems
with her
like you were
hands in her
on his
air.
side."
Did you see
Yeah.
that? Then Janet starts yelling with her hands in the air. I'm like, are you
Oh,
kidding
yeah.
me?
Yeah. Yeah, she
Yeah,
has her
everyone's asking
moment.
why. Why can't we move on from things? It's because everyone's still mad at me for talking about the things Zach said. I can't say that. And I'm like, yeah, because you won't apologize for it.
Right.
That's what it's
You
about.
won't I'm sorry for talking about the things your husband did, and, yeah, well, we'll get to it in the whole headline
Yeah.
thing. So,
Yeah.
thank God it's the next day because
Yes.
I couldn't handle any more of that nonsense. It was ridiculous. Zach wakes up refreshed and justified,
Yeah.
and it's his
Good for
birthday,
him.
so good for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kristen and Luke are feeding the baby, and did you see her looking at that bottle?
The
Her
baby.
eyes were like
Yeah. I
she
did
wanted that
actually.
bottle so bad. It was so cute. And Kristen says she was very anxious yesterday. Luke tells her that she makes him feel like he feels like she thinks he's a bad dad. But she says, like, I'm just telling you in her confessional, she's like, I'm just expressing how I feel. And he's taking it as if I'm saying he's a bad dad. Listen, we've both been there. It's such a hard time. First baby, no, neither one of them have any experience. It's just such a hard time. Hopefully they got through it though. He says, "I think you have an image of me that's worse than what it is." And she's like, "We'll just agree to disagree."
Yeah.
Then we see Janet and Brittany in their beds, and Michelle goes in and starts jumping rope, fitness
Good for
Barbie.
her.
Yeah. Now listen, she looks great. She is. And then they flash back to when she was saying that Aaron broke up with her because he wants a fitness girl. It's
I know,
like,
that was
what?
funny.
She's perfect. She's perfect. Luke is surf fishing and Danny goes down to see him. And they were just talking about last night. And then, of course, Lala shows up and she says to Danny, "You left last night and there was no resolution." So then Lala says she thinks Nia and Danny wants everyone to feel like everything is perfect. And Danny said, "No, listen, we had an argument last night and then we talked about it this morning. I didn't feel like she had my back." And Lala says, "Take the words that Janet used on the boat out of the equation." No,
I know.
absolutely not. We're not doing
Right.
that.
Right.
Why would we
Right.
do that? That's the whole point of this. She hurt his career by saying what she said. She could have ruined his marriage. She could have ruined other business deals. Like, no, we're not doing that.
Well, he
And
even
not
says, like,
only
how can he if she refuses to apologize? Like, if she would apologize,
right,
have
specifically
you
for that.
right. Yeah,
And
that's all they
not
want.
only that with Janet, like, yes, she needs to apologize for that, but now knowing that Jax really did have plans to take Danny and Nia down, whatever you want to say, damn well Janet and Jason were on that train.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Talk about blind loyalty. They were the only ones who filmed with Jax last year.
And so is Brittany, by the way.
Mhm. Yes. So Lala's like, "Well, that's not how I operate." Well, Lala, this is none of your fucking business, so nobody cares how you operate.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
know.
nobody cares how you operate. And then Danny says again, he has PTSD and trauma from what Janet said. And who wouldn't?
No, I agree.
He didn't do what she said. She really needs to make a public apology. But he says, "I shouldn't have liked the posts." And Lala's like, "Well, listen, I'm glad to hear that. That's growth, and if you can acknowledge that was wrong and not do it again, okay." So then we see Zach and Benji in a little sunbed. I love
Cabana.
Zach says a cabana. So Zach says, "I feel like I'm burning, but I'm wearing sunscreen and we're in the shade." And Benji's like, "Well, that's because you're Victorian white. You're
And you know what?
Victorian white."
I could so relate to that because that
I know
happened to
you are
me.
too.
I was wearing sunscreen in the shade, and I did burn because I also am Victorian white.
Yeah. So Jasmine and Melissa meet up with them, and Jasmine says she's still upset about last night. So then Brittany shows up and says that Zach was mean to her and Jasmine. So then the other group is going on the bus into town to shop.
Before we get there, Brittany came down in that dress, and she said she didn't have her bra on. Brittany looked amazing. Didn't she
She
look
did.
amazing?
She did, and that's only what, like 2 weeks out from her surgery, so imagine what she looks like
Yeah.
now. She's
Yeah.
yeah,
So
God bless her,
right,
good for her.
she had no bra on, and I'm sure she didn't have all those, like, compression things. It didn't look like she did with that dress. Like, she looked
Right.
amazing. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
good.
she
Good
did.
for her."
Yeah, she did, she looked great. So, Kristen tells them on the bus while they're going into town that she had a lot of anxiety last night because Kaya was crying for 2 hours. And then Jesse brings up the posts that Danny liked on the bus. I'm like, "Why is Jesse doing that?"
I think he wanted Kristen to know.
Because Kristen wasn't there. Okay.
Kristen wasn't
Okay.
there. I think he wanted to fill Kristen in, to be quite honest
Right.
with you, because he
Okay.
knew Kristen would have Nia's back,
Right. Right, and Nia was on the bus. But Kristen's like,
and
"Anyone with
Janet
half a
and
brain like."
Michelle.
Right. Kristen says, "Anyone with half a brain like the negative comments about Janet and Jason." And word on that, dude, she was right. She was
Yeah,
right.
and half the cast, half the rest of the cast did.
Exactly. Exactly. So Nia says Danny is still understandably upset about the essay comment. And Jesse says, saying someone is a molester. And Michelle says, "Well, no one said that." Yes, she did, basically. It's just a different term. It can be used for the same insinuation. And then Janet goes into headlines and then says, "You're welcome."
That was
Like,
crazy.
it was crazy. And
That was
Nia's like,
crazy.
"Okay, so your apology was bullshit, basically. Bullshit."
Right. Right. So, yeah, so what happened was the after he said molestation and she said, "I didn't say that," and then he said sexual assault, and then Janet said, "Well, if I didn't say that word, it was all over social media anyway," and Nia said, Only because you made it a thing, it was," and that's when Janet said, "You're welcome," and that's when Nia said, "So the apology that you didn't mean that. You didn't mean that." No, she didn't mean that. She totally doubled down on it, and she kept doubling down on it.
Right. She's
I was like, "What is
apologizing for
wrong
the
with
fact
her?"
that what she said hurt people. But she's not apologizing for saying that Danny saved someone when he didn't. And even Jasmine said he didn't. Whether Jasmine wants to admit it this season or not, last season she said that didn't happen.
Right. Right.
So, and Nia says, "I'm done with Janet." And so are we.
Yes, and then Janet gets off the bus crying and calls Jason.
And
Please.
here's
Like,
the thing. They're all calling Nia out for trying to make everything look perfect. Isn't Janet doing the same thing? Aren't Janet and Jason trying to make their lives look so picture perfect? And we know damn well it's not, because nobody can live with Janet and have a perfect life. She's
well, I
difficult.
guess I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how Jason, I mean,
I mean, they really put it out there that everything's hunky dory over there.
they
Yeah,
do.
so Janet calls Jason. She tells him what happened. And Michelle tells Janet, "We're going to figure it out, hopefully. Tell your friend to apologize for the essay comment. And then you can figure it out." I'm trying to figure out if somebody at some point told Janet that she was funny. And this is why she makes these little comments. The underwear comment to Jesse when they were in that store. I'm sure that's not
Yeah,
the first time he put on a pair of underwear like that. I don't find her funny at all, obviously. But I
no,
think somebody at some point told her she might have been funny. It was probably Lala.
probably was.
So now we're back at the pool, and Zach asks Danny about lying about drinking at his party. And Zach says it's not about the drinking, it's about the lying. And Danny acknowledges that he did lie. He apologizes for it. And he says he didn't want to make an issue about it. So they're all like, Brittany, Jasmine, Melissa, they're all like, drink whatever you want. You can drink whatever as much as you want.
Brittany said she'd do shots with him.
Right. We're not judging you. You drink whatever you want. And then they bring up the White Claw in the gym at Brittany's house, and he says it wasn't him. And Lala says she needs to confirm that he only had one drink at Zach's house. What? Shut up. No, you don't.
Right.
Like, it's
And
none of your business.
it's none of your business. But then after he said the White Claw wasn't him, then production shows a clip where he has a White Claw in his hand. But he wasn't in the gym.
He was
And
walking down the hall.
right. And so what? He drank a White Claw. That doesn't mean he even said like, no, I wasn't in the gym drinking White Claws. Like, I mean, what does a White Claw have? Is it like 5%? Like, you're not getting drunk
Yeah, if
off
that. You're not. You're not. That's probably the best thing he could drink for himself.
yeah.
And then he tells them about the PTSD he has from last season. So everyone says they're good. Brittany's like, I feel really good about it. I'm proud of us. And then the shopping crew goes to sit down for lunch. And what we didn't need to know, but we find out, is that Jesse was super into colonics at one point.
Oh my gosh, that was insanity.
Schwartzy's like, I'll go get colonics with you.
I don't wanna
Schwartzy's
see
always
that
up for a good time, isn't he?
I know. I don't want to see that on camera. Please
I
don't
don't
show us
want to
that.
see it on camera either. Thank you. Michelle says she's so happy they could be at the table together. And again, Jesse asks Nia, what did Janet do aside from what she said about your husband that hurt you? And she says that Janet twisted her words at that dinner. I forget. Was it Jasmine? No, it
Multiple
wasn't
times.
Jasmine's house.
It was
Was
Brittany's.
it at Brittany's house that dinner? Okay. When Janet was like, I've been with somebody with drug abuse issue, like an addict. And she called him an addict, basically. And Michelle says everyone feels uncomfortable when Danny drinks.
Almost everyone. Almost.
Oh, I thought she said everyone.
No, she said almost, because I played it back just
Okay.
to make sure.
Okay.
Because Ania
And
said
Nia's like, so
everyone felt uncomfortable last night. And Michelle said, oh, no, not last night.
Right, exactly.
But
Exactly.
then Janet jumps in and said, well, people were talking in the morning in bed. I'm going to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And Kristen's
people,
like, why do
you?
you care if Danny drinks? She's like, Brittany, Zach, and Jasmine are hot messes when they drink. And boom, Janet pulls out her phone, sends a
Text
text
right away.
message to Brittany, basically telling her what just happened. She's the worst. And then Janet and Jesse start arguing. Because what did he say to her? What did he say to her? This is why.
He said to her, but Schwartz says to Janet, you have to put yourself in her shoes. Janet says, I have, meaning Nia's shoes. Jesse says there's no resolution here. And Jasmine calls Jesse a dumb prick. This is why he has $500,000. Yeah, that's Janet calls Jesse a dumb prick. This is why he has $500,000 in debt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she said,
Janet gets up to leave.
Yeah. She says, I'm not apologizing for speaking flippantly. I'm not apologizing for Danny's actions. Nia's like, nobody asked you to apologize for Danny's actions.
Right.
And she gets up crying and leaves.
And calls Jason.
Yeah.
She says to Jason, I can't keep having the same conversation, but you keep perpetuating that Danny is a drunk. So fuck off, Janet. Because if you want to stop having the conversation, apologize for the essay comment, and then probably you can move on.
Yeah.
I want to know, listeners, please. I want to know. Anybody, the Danny drinking thing aside, does anybody out there like Janet and enjoy her on this show?
Yeah, let us
I
know.
really want to know. Because I don't enjoy her on this show at all. I think they could pluck her and Jason right out and we would be fine.
I totally agree. And I don't understand why Danny is still the topic of drinking when, like Kristen pointed out, Jasmine, Zach, and Brittany drink way more than Danny does.
And look at what happened last night with Zach and Jasmine. They were screaming at each other. Talk about aggressive. They were both being aggressive to each other.
And
Brittany
so were
wasn't
Zach
like
and
that,
Brittany.
but
So were Zach and Brittany.
yeah, I mean, listen, Brittany, I don't know. I don't know if it's just her Midwestern thing, but even when she gets mad and yells, like you almost want to be like, stop. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But yeah,
Yeah.
they were yelling at each other too. Like, and the thing is that Janet keeps saying Danny does weird stuff. He does weird stuff. That's not a nice thing to say. He gets
No.
belligerent, yes. I guess he gets touchy too, which I bet he hasn't done that since the thing with Jasmine.
No, I'm sure he hasn't. I mean, we haven't heard
Yeah.
of it.
Right. I don't know. I can't keep listening to this though. They have got to come up with something else. I can't keep listening to it. It's what episode are we on?
13.
Thank God. How many more
I
do you
know
think
they
we got?
filmed the reunion
Great.
last week
Great.
because Lala had to miss Ocean's graduation because it was the day she was filming the reunion. So, yeah.
That's interesting. That's not going to be good for her little custody battle, I'm sure.
I think her custody battle is actually solved. I think that that's resolved.
He
It
seems
took
like
a
the
long
type of
time.
person that'll throw that in her face, though.
Well, her mother was there, and so was Easton. And she had to work. I mean, the girl had to work. What are you going to do?
I don't know. I just can't listen to it anymore. And I really, for the love of God, please find something else to talk about. Do they not? I mean, there are like people out there saying this that they might get canceled. I don't think they're going to get canceled because I saw Kristen like rebutting that, but they got to come up with something else because they you can't do another season like this. You can't do a third season about Danny's drinking,
Yeah. I mean, this is season 3, so no, you can't.
and it's been going on since last season. We didn't really see it in the first season, but it was all we talked about last season, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Something's going to have to change. Something's going to have to change. And I'm very curious as what is going to happen with Summer House because I don't think the cast is set yet. I mean, I know they're going to start filming soon, but I still don't think it's set because Mia recently said that she would be willing to come back if asked, and I don't
Yeah,
think she's been asked.
I know. I know.
And I
And
don't
they
know why
really are
she
set
wouldn't
to
be
start
asked.
next week. I would imagine that there's a lot of preparation that goes into that. We're a week out from 4th of July.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I am very curious to see what happens.
Me too.
I was also listening to Gia's, she was on reality, Page 6, what's it called?
Reality.
T, yeah. And she was talking about tomorrow, actually, they're filming on Real Housewives of New Jersey, they're filming hers and her mother's restaurant. I was like,
My
"Oh,
God.
Kelly's gonna be so excited to see that."
You couldn't pay me. You couldn't pay me. You couldn't pay me.
And she was
I
talking.
keep reading where filming's not going well. I'm sure you've seen it too.
I have seen it. People are denying it, though, and by people, I think it is Melissa and Teresa, and
Right.
right? I mean, I don't know who else. I don't know who else. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm looking
they're
forward to
gonna
it. I am
deny.
looking forward to it. I don't know when we're gonna get it since they're still filming it. Probably not until fall, I would imagine.
I think probably around Christmas time, because if they're still filming, they have to edit,
Yeah.
they have to
Oh,
do
but what else is coming?
confessionals.
Have you seen the trailer for Ultimate Girls Trip?
Yes.
Okay, that looks a little crazy. I'm kinda
Yeah.
here for it.
I'm here for that. I'm definitely here for that, even though Teresa's on it and I hate anything she's on, but, or I dislike watching anything
Dislike.
she's on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll still watch that though, because there's enough people to kinda drown her out. Hopefully, she doesn't act like an asshole.
I didn't see it, but I heard that, Jill Zarin was in the preview for the Ultimate Girls Trip. I didn't see her in there. Maybe she was at first and then they took her out, but I've watched it a
Right.
couple times and I didn't see her in there. I mean,
Interesting.
she may have actually filmed it because I think she was in good standing because she was supposed to be doing that other show when they did the Ultimate Girls Trip until she did the stupid Super Bowl post and got fired immediately.
Such an idiot. I'm so
She
glad she
really
got
is.
fired, though. I really
I
am.
know.
Whether you like Bethany Frankel or not, what she did to her to try to get her off the show and try to ice her out, I'm so glad that Bethany went again, wherever you stand with Bethany, she went on to come back. They begged her to come back to New York and never thought twice about Jill again. That's
She's another
karma.
one who yeah, she is so polarizing, Bethany. You either like her or you don't. There is
But
no
yeah,
middle ground with Bethany.
there's no middle ground.
Yeah.
No middle.
All right. So until next time, thank you for watching and listening. Please subscribe and give us 5-star reviews. Bye.
Bye.